Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this new Sogdian Egyptian series of sorts here on the Lord Mass channel. As we know that this is episode 2, that we follow the obscure dynasty of Al-Farghani, not related to the astronomer named Al-Farghani, but it's a very interesting series that I started with. Episode 1, we kind of started kind of slow and go. It's just more of, alright, just spend your money mainly on men-at-arms, and then, and so we increase the size of it, so that way it'll be much easier to manage. Not only our finances, but also, we don't need siege weapons, because we're mainly a defensive army. Again, we're not an independent realm. We are a vassal to the Tulanid Sultana, which is still held strong by many allies, mostly from within, just to prevent factionalism, which is good on his part. Whereas for me, I may have to look for allies of my own, since we will be dealing with a possible formidable enemy. His health is doing poor right now. What's his heir like? A military man, but not much of a marshal, more into stewardship. Because I am a bit afraid about dealing with that man, who is a strategist, and he's got all these good things, and enhanced marshal as well. It's probably a thing that he got, but still. It's been 12 years. That's how long that first episode took. So, the one thing I never brought up, two things in fact, I did not bring up due to time constraints of the episode. One is, I did not show you the doctrines of being a Sunni Muslim here in this playthrough. The marriage type is polygamous, as you saw in the previous series with the Buddhists. A divorce must be approved by the Caliphate. No bastards. Consanguinity is the cousin marriage, as it's allowed. The relationship is holy matrimony, which, by the way, in Vanilla, that's not there. That's due to using the Black Emperor's Africa Plus mod. Africa Plus. That's the mod. So they had that little feature there. Same for view on nudity, which is none, as inherits wears clothes. Now, in here, and this is just due to the compatibility patch I was able to found before recording the first episode even. Yeah, the compatibility patches I forgot to bring up. There is one for Africa Plus and Muslim enhancements. So, the crime doctrines. Same-sex relations, adultery is criminal. Deviancy, witchcraft, and even kinslaying is rather shunned. Whereas on Vanilla, all of this would be shunned, and kinslaying is accepted, but they put it as shunned here, as part of Muslim Enhancements mod, which is believed to be, it's like, hey, murder is murder, but it's bad, but it's not criminal, and neither is accepted. It's almost like they took that accepted kinslaying part as being a little extreme for those in Vanilla. Same-sex relations accepted over Waldidism. Oddly enough. Well, what about the Shia that we mainly been opposed with? Similar views, criminal. Same for Wahhabiyya. Ibadism, same. Zaydism, Amateurism. Oh yeah, these Quranists that we've saw them spawned from the first episode. Not here locally, but they're out there, in this side of Africa. The Quranists, instead of criminal, they're rather shunned. There's also Nukharism out there. Sufism, Bhagavata, Which, interestingly, that particular faith is the one with the syncretic folk traditions. And I've got a lot over there. Which is just a thing that's only found, oh, where is it? People of that faith. Oh, over there. Yeah, due to Africa Plus mod, they just, like, instead of having Eastern syncretism as an example, as one of its tenets, they put that down there as a doctrine. And taking its place is adaptive. Again, just an example. Oh, and the other mods, I mean, I'm not using it in this series, but far down the line in the future here in the Lore Master channel, that this is technically the first Sogdian series I'm doing, but the second Sogdian series that I will be doing, which takes place over in Trans-Saharan area. But in actuality, it would be in Sogdia, when I do that second series, where I will be using the More Bookmarks mod, and More Bookmarks does have some of the features that was taken from Africa Plus and Religions and Doctrines, so that's integrated in. So it was Religions and Doctrines mod. It used to be a separate thing, but it's integrated into Africa Plus, and then you combine that in turn, and there you have these little features. And I forget the teachings of the Prophet. Non-Islamic faiths with the Islamic syncretism tenet are considered hostile instead of evil. Unlike, those from, with those Nestorians over there with Eastern syncretism, they're considered to be astray instead of evil. For those over there. Now, anyways, let's get back to where we were. So, for this episode, my goal, my early goal for this series, as I tried to do in the first episode, is to take Barca, the Taifa, which is that they called it that over there because it's held by an Andalusian, so they're using Andalusian terms instead of there's a Sogdian word we're using that we're trying to take over. Which again, Sultan named me the governor of Barca, and yet I don't hold Barca. And I'm here to rectify that and say that Barca is mine. At least it's a more developed territory because there's drylands here. Same for Benghazi over there, which that's a city. Oh, that's something that is worth. And you can build a duchy building there whenever you're at the early medieval era. Again, the de jure capital of Cyrenaica is supposed to be here, not Tobruk. That's why I have not built a single building in any of these areas I held, because I'm saving it for there. It's all because that's where the development is. It's where the levies and the taxes are. And are they even trying to convert that there? I mean, if he tries to bring in this form of Sunniism to here, I'd be fine with it. But they're the more adaptive form of that, rather than the one that's more orthodox about that. But anyways, let's build up the size of the pikemen once again. Nearly spending many more fortune there. And then we're going to test their might. Because they keep increasing the size of their man-at-arms. Yes, we're good together, but you're standing on a territory that I'm supposed to be living in. So what we're going to do, as soon as the pikemen are ready, raid Benghazi first, which will definitely lure them over here. Yeah, sure. Organized army. This is for the levy size. So that way we nearly be on par with them. Keyword nearly. So 1 more month, so it'll be on May. We will raise raiders. Raid Benghazi, then Barca. Just to lure them over here, and then we will fight them in a pitched battle just to see what they are like. Banda. Interesting name. Okay, we are ready. Now, the only issue with that is these Faris here. Some of them aren't even good fighters at all. It just makes you want to wish that, you know, that you want to invite them here, but I can't afford it. The money, that is. So, in order to get a little bit of money, we'll go raiding. The other alternative is go raid the long way, which is basically start from here, go through the desert, and raid these areas. But this is also dangerous territory because of the cavalry over there. Unless you want to go long and back here, and that's even more dangerous because they're twice the size. In the meantime, you should look for alliances. In fact, you have so little children. You got these secondary spouses. What the hell are you worried about, huh? Regarding succession, that is. I mean, your wife's starting to get old, so don't you think it's about time you find more spouses? Till you're 30. Got it? Oh, by the way, content, trusting, patient. Sounds like you're a nice guy. But ideally not a military man. With no intrigue. So that'll be an issue. The alternative, if you want to have wives, why don't you send out invitations of these debutantes around? It costs you plenty of prestige, but it's an alternative to these two where it spends money. But this is more for that. It doesn't cost much prestige for you to declare a conquest order, so you'll be fine. Prestige is not a problem. So I'm doing this because I am looking for a second wife. And it has to be a Sogdian. What else? You got sons? Yes. That's very good, actually. How'd you like to be betrothed to one of my sons? You really desire an alliance big time. Okay, that's one. And over there, diplomat and administrator. It's another daughter. Okay. Now, you and Akbar also desire an alliance. I don't know about you. Panda. Boy. And plus, at least it's inland. From Egypt, and then parts of Libya. Those regions. And in the meantime, I'm gonna get myself a second wife. It has to be of a Sogdian origin. And plus, doing this because I am not taking any chances. Because of the money he has that he might use to hire mercenaries. Many talented debutantes have been gathered from across the realm and presented before me. Out of all of them, Mach, Gulshan, and Chat stand out the most. Who do you choose to join your court? Examine all of you. I'll take the pretty one, Chat. She's the best candidate. Only brought you here, so... Anyway, I'll gain no prestige for this. Just the way it is. But you know what? Your aptitude is average. But whereas... no, it doesn't say. But anyways. Alliances are being signed, which I said before, I'm not taking any chances when we deal with those guys over there. Oh, let's raid. Start with Benghazi first, because it's where most of the value is. We're only merely testing their might. See what they can do. He ate some good food, but it ain't enough for him. Oh, hell. They actually spawned out here. My advantage is 30. His is 25. So there he is. He's got more commander traits. He's got all three. Holy War won't do much around here. Reaver doesn't help it either, but he's got unyielding defender. So let's see what we can do. Remember, I'm the desert warrior here. He's got Morse cavalry, he's got pikemen. We have pikemen to counter their cavalry. But it's just something that we would have to deal with. Oh God! They got my steward. Tarkun killed this man. Good. That'll show him. They're taking more casualties than we are. Clary's been wounded. We're doing alright. Stay here and raid. Apparently we can defeat them. You killed a man. How do you feel? Regardless, we're here for the money and testing their might. We've tested them and we've beaten them. But they killed my steward. Bastards. There's not much gold, but let's go right out here. They're chasing us. They want to go another round. Defensive buildings. There's no advantage to that because there aren't any defensive buildings to speak of. Ari's been maimed. My son has been wounded. And the grandson. You're doing well, Tarkun. Our crafty fighter I might be losing this one. Cutting through enemies with ease. I find myself picturing my foes like demons. The unclean that I must smite with holy power. This is just my imagination. This is just adrenaline or fear. Or some kind of combination. Either way, it feels real to me. Maybe I'm being shown that these demons are messenger habits, telling me to use my divine will as a means to strike the enemy down. I continue fighting the vigor of holy strength as I thunder through Abd al-Malik. Taste my blade! There goes another Andalusian, man. I think we got a little too greedy here. He's been getting good rolls as compared to me. What are you doing? You're supposed to do that. There he is, shouts a voice from over my shoulder. It's extra Muhammad, says someone else from another direction. Where are they coming from, I think to myself, whilst continuously fighting off more and more foes. After a prolonged period of combat, my nearby soldiers desperately try to protect them. As their numbers dwindle, I begin to take hits from larger quantity of enemies. As the last of my personal guard falls down on the floor, I look up to see myself surrounded several by a short distance rest of mine. They have me 10 to 1. I've been wounded, but there's a chance that I might become severely injured, or I'll die. I mean, you've proven yourself to be a capable fighter. Let me live, I beg you. Don't want to die. After retreating from immediate combat to assess my situation, I noticed the damage to my body's received. While it's not absolutely lethal, it's certainly something to be concerned about. Noticing my concern, my fighter hurries over, convinced he has enough training in the medical field to give me an emergency situation listed out. I don't think it's a good idea, but I'll just say you're not qualified for this. I already got a physician for it. Stupid thing to say. Still gonna lose, but how close that is. Indulging myself in combat against some of the weaker enemy levies, I find myself slashing through weaker, less trained forces of ease, cutting down a few enemies every few minutes. The soldiers alongside me are equally thrilled as their unmatched skills give them easy kills. Eventually, I find myself clashing with a slightly shorter, skinnier opponent, who rushes me frantically as I step aside along and fall past me, stumble to the ground. As they stand themselves up, their helmet slips off, revealing the face of a boy, no older than 16 years old, and with not a single hair grown out of their face, whilst they clutch their blade bravely. I know this fight is unfair, but do I do him without killing him, or do I cut him down like the rest? He's got a sword! Lose all that stress. I'd be a ruthless warrior for this. And look how close it was. Oh my god, look! Can we get him? I got the slightly higher roll. Slow down, man. This is the closest battle I've ever seen, and yet this is only just for money. 5, 4, 2. We got him. Only 4 of us remained in battle. Go back to see where you came. That was the closest battle I've ever seen. The Battle of Barca al-Maj. How long was that battle? 200 losses. Well, they lost 200. There's the survivors while we were worst off. My goodness. died from wounds, and that was during the final stages of the battle. I think we better stop raiding and get back home. But we killed one of them. And I say here, in fact, he's the best fighter. You know what? I think... I mean, we know that fighters can make a bunch of kills. I mean, so do we, but I think the reason why we won the battle is because we killed their best fighter. He was a brave one, and he was sadistic. That's the reason for the high prowess. And it was Tarkun, my son, put a stop to it. Had Isa not fall, we would have lost that battle. He was wounded during the battle, but he recovered. So he is an aspiring blade master. And remember, he's a Sogdian, not a Buddha, not a Berber. They have no idea what it's like to fight against a Sogdian. Because when you fight a Sogdian, if you wound him... I mean, look at me. Yes, I'm wounded in action, but my prowess did not go down because it negates the penalties. But to be real honest, Azar here, he's the one that did most of the killing, but he got maimed. He lost his legs, so... And he's getting old too, so he's not the best fighter as he used to be. Gosh, son. You impress me. Maybe we should spar one day. Okay, those two men that were killed in action. So, Azar lost his leg because an enemy soldier got to him. I mean, he was the best fighter. So Tarkun wounded him, wounded this other man, and then he killed that man. And Tarkun wounded another. I told you, don't mess with a Sogdian. We may be a mercantile people, but don't you know that we have fighting clubs and we spar against each other so we can better ourselves? Man, what a day. So, I don't think we should be here anymore. Can't handle another battle like this. Because you know they're going to be back soon. As they're retreating to sea in a couple of days. And we gotta get out of here. So, they're still in a retreat, so they're on their way back. Yeah. Go back to where you came. This loot is ours. And let's just go back home before anything terrible happens. Say, cross the Libyan Sea into the Levantine Sea. And plus, in 10 months we have to deal with some peasant rabble. So we'll be going home with 14 loot. Whenever I recover from my wound, despite the fact that I showed my cowardice, I did not have the courage, but somehow I did find my courage. Especially that I slain a 14-year-old boy who said he was 16, but he was lying. And it was during that same battle that I, got that man. Who in turn killed my steward, so I avenged Tahir. He may be a Shia, but he was one of the good ones. And this isn't even a war. We said that we came out to test them, and we accomplished that mission. It's too bad none of us were able to wound the commander. So he'd disband his troops as I disband mine. Okay, whenever I recover the wounds, I wish to spar with Tarkhan. Will not accept because of relative prowess and personality. He's content. Oh, okay, I see. Maybe I'll just spar with one of the fellow men. I don't think it's possible to do that with some of the Berbers. Actually, you can, thanks to my culture. I love being a Sogdian. So, we've set an example to them. In pitched combat, it's just even. But we are able to take out some of the best fighters. So bringing allies is a must. It's what we've learned. And we've got to start saving up some money to invite some more in here. Because bravery alone cannot win a battle in practical warfare. Oh. Well, the old man finally croaked. He died of old age. Now their strength is vastly inferior. Well, I don't think we should jump ahead here, because again, we have a shortage of good fighting men, and these are not good fighting men. None of you. Only Azar, who lost a leg and is getting old, and my young, brave son, despite the fact they said he's a content coward, because he is content, but he's trusting and patient. But he proved to me that he could do well. And I've recovered from my wound. So in the meantime, should train commanders. Try to increase their skills. Well, meanwhile, son, you and I are going to go out again. We're going to take out these peasant rabble. Demonstration of leadership. My Marshal Azar has been hovering around my council meetings lately. Knowing his interest in the matters of leadership, I cannot help but feel that the man is waiting for me to impress him. I could probably engage him in conversation. On the other hand, it might be better for him to simply see me interacting with my men. There is something to be said for at least pretending to know every soldier's face. You know, I recall you were a guest that I brought you in. Yes. Because you're not a Shia, you're a Ibadi. Still consider you hostile, but you're a good man. You have my respect. You should go greet some recruits. Ah, here we go. We have been burdened with your oppressive laws for far too long. No more. We are done paying your taxes. Once your coffers drop and your larders are empty, you would wish you had treated us more fairly. Never. The peasants are to serve their lord. To the cocky Muhammad, your arrogance knows no bounds. Worry not. You shall soon be taught a lesson in humility. Yeah, you and what army? See what you got, son. He may have a high advantage, but we outnumber. With her coming of age, my tuition of Daria's on it. With sufficient tutelage, even a child has displayed little natural inclination towards diplomatic influence, such as Daria. Become truly understanding, with an excellent grasp of all matters of etiquette and an understanding of all kinds of entertainment, and the eloquence to go with it. She will have little trouble navigating a life at court. They grow up fast. On our way down, we'll be there in 35 days. En masse, it does cost a little. Only because that control's been reduced, because of these dang peasants. Let's get it on. Gotcha. You may not like me very much, but we need talent. So we're going to forcibly recruit you. Yes, you rebelled against me. So after we've decided in 2 weeks, that says, well, we have a shortage of good fighting men. And you look like one of the good ones, so... Plus, Desert Rebat, I mean, you're a Berber, right? So, prowess per level of devotion. Even though he doesn't have much of an any way of devotion, but still. Get in here. He can do nothing with me. Watch your step now, Yuba. Now put on a uniform. That is proper of your station. Well, he ain't. So. I mean, I could re-incriminate him, but no need for that. It's just we need fighters. We don't have any siege weapons, but I wouldn't mind going for Serve the Crown, just for control reasons. To go along with the Seneschal. Still vastly inferior, they're no longer led by a very talented commander. If there's one that's going to be a commander, it'll likely be this man. The walls of Algila. A delegation of Algila slowly flies out of my private chambers. After a long meeting finally over, the petitioners begged for money to repair the crumbling walls of the holding. I invoked my lordly duty to help them. I drummed my fingers on the table, pondering whether to send them funds. Good fortifications are hideously expensive. Of course, if the walls are crumbling anyway, then I could always divert the existing stipend to more personal matters. Since this is an outlying province, the popular opinion is there, so it'll last for a good number of years. So weaken the defenses. Yes, lowers the popular opinion a bit. You know what? My money is for me. I'm going to be that kind of guy. Yes, we neglected the defenses here. Because this is a isolated area that isn't worth defending much. But I have said before that I wish to... Hey, wait a minute. What's your skill again? Aha! Sorry about this, Azar. This former peasant rebel has the best skills to be the marshal. And this will increases the chance of improving commanders or finding a new one each month. As well as commander traits. I got a new job for you. Oh, wait a minute. He's a probable council member. Got blasted. Remember, 150 gold, and then one of our last duties should be to invite the Fares. Because as we said before, we have a shortage of good fighting men. One more to fill up the slot, and another to get rid of these three. I got a handsome son. Go for a Muslim name this time. Yaqub. They did convert. Good. They actually appointed another member. Aha. Now this is a man we ought to watch out for. Since the old man died now, the realm has been decentralized. So that makes things easier. Right, invite now. As the ex-runner of Al-Farghani, I need brave Faris to defend the realm and conquer new lands. I'll send out air to let my subjects know that I'm in search of skilled warriors. At least 3 able-bodied men with 12 or more prowess will arrive as guests at the court within the coming months. It'll cost you 150 prestige as we send them out. So I'm ready to open up my pockets for this. Hey, a Sogdian for once. With good stewardship. You're gonna be the new steward. I don't care what he says. Put that back. Since the next conflict is going to be a bit easier. Now that the old man is gone. We'll still be waiting for another man to come here. Golban. Another Sogdian. Military engineer. Best fighter around. Come on in. I doubt we can afford a third man, but I think it's good enough. But of course we still have one bad one. Remember, all the areas that you hold with the development is low. But taking Barca, more development means more taxes. Sakaliba settlers. A band of several hundred pale-skinned Sakaliba, enslaved men and women from the eastern reaches of Europe, have escaped the realm of my acquaintance Amir Umar. Oh, it's those guys from Crete. They left there. Talk to me about how they were treasured, were in his armies and his harem. They braved many dangers to seek freedom in my lands. We all have scars, their leader, Rostislava, a Russian, on our bodies. We are strong and determined. We long for some land of our own, where we could speak our ancestral tongue. If you'd let us settle in a Madinah Jalu, we would work hard to make it prosper. Okay, I try to do a little bit of that Russian accent. A former slave. Beautiful. I mean, hey, fellow Sunni. But you know what? Yeah, you do get that city because I don't like that guy. And plus, he may not like it. So yes, there are such thing as Slavic slaves that were really interested by Arabs. I mean, not just Russians, but also Serbs and Croats were also subjected to that due to raids from Berbers in particular, that they go up to the Adriatic and raid there or buy them off of slave markets and they bring them back here. And sometimes the Sakliba it not only comes in as slaves, but also as mercenaries. And I wish we had Slavic mercenaries. Can you imagine Serbian, Bosnian, or Croatian mercenaries serving under a Sogdian? But anyways, we're going to make you mayor. And this will help the economy a bit. Former slaves of Eastern European descent have settled in this province, adding some defender advantage just to make up for those crumbling defensive walls there. Starosta Rostislava. The island of Waq-Waq. My imagination is struck by a number of accounts from reputable geographers and scholars of the island of Waq-Waq. It's described as a wondrous realm, particularly inhabited by women, ruled by a queen, and her circle of wise women. In the center of the island is said to grow the gigantic Waq-Waq tree, from which female figures grow until they mature like fruit and drop to the ground to live their enchanted lives. The lands of Waq-Waq are also known to be so rich in gold that inhabitants make the chains for their dogs and collars for their donkeys of this metal. We should search for Waq-Waq. You want to stand on your council? You damn right you do. I'm sorry, fellow Sogdian brother, but this Russian woman here, she's got the skills to make the economy greater. Expedition to Waq-Waq. Aching on my interest in the island of Waq-Waq, I declared that we should send an embassy to its queen. And I ordered my chancellor to assemble a small delegation of skilled diplomats. Then turned to my directing that it may prepare a suitable array of gifts and local trade goods to convince the queen of our worth as a trade partner. The two councils look at each other for a long time until eventually Azreg asks where this island might be. East, of course, in the sea beyond Zien. Respond. And what should we trade with? Waq-Waq, ask Kasarach. Gold, as it is known to exist there. After further silent exchange between the two, I impatiently ask about their hesitancy to carry out my order. My lord, Kosistata Kasarach, our treasury contains coins from every realm yet. I've never seen the effigy of the Queen of Waq-Waq. Surely if Waq-Waq overflowed with gold, we'd be familiar with the Queen's profiles. Is Waq-Waq an imaginary land, or does he simply lack vision? It'll be worth it. Send an embassy to Waq-Waq. That's it, I'm curious. Waq. You misspelled it, dummy. I don't think it's real. No, that can't be right. So, maybe it is a mythical place. Who knows? We'll find out. And plus, I would love to trade. Don't you know that's in our heritage? Our Sogdian heritage? Oh, here we go again with this. 71% chance. We screwed up once. Let's see if we can get this. Dependable network. After going through reams of financial ledgers. I was able to pick out a group of merchants scattered around the countryside, which I knew would be dependable. I made an offer to keep them on a retainer to provide any supplies the army need at a moment's notice. This will ensure my commanders will always know who they should go to when they need provisions. We are a local army, so this is unnecessary. Instead, just gain some money. Now to skim a little off the top. One more Sogdian. He's a bleeder. Barely made it. Got all of them in. Well done. There, you got your fighting men and you are ready for war. All we need is to gain some little more income to build up your war chest, and then we'll finally take Barca, and I will move my residence from Tobruk to Barca out of March. Every little bit of that economy helps. Of course, once we take Barca, then we can begin some real money making. Oh, don't you start. Oh my goodness, I didn't think there was a conclusion to that. To my most esteemed lord, our search for the island of Waq-Waq has so far proven unsuccessful. We questioned merchants in a dozen ports across India, and none have said awareness, directly or through rumors, of an all-female kingdom awash with gold. But surely, if such did exist within our reach, these traders would have pursued it in earnest before our inquiry. After a short stay in Lingma, where? All the way over there in Pagan. So after a short stay in Lingma, once I'm soon recovered from the tropical fever, we will travel further east, towards or into Sin if I need be. I remain your most devoted servant. Well, you better keep looking then. Look at that man's mustache. Now that's a Sogdian. Oh man. I mean, people with Iranian heritage tend to have prominent mustaches. See you later. While we prepare to get Barca. When we take Barca, we need faster to get the control up faster, so strict organization will do. I'm not interested in becoming a strategist all the way, but it'll just have to do. We just need some income. Just raise it up to at least 50 gold. 50 gold is what you need. That'll be enough for your little war chest to fight a localized war, to defeat the army either inland or they're going to come from the sea. And it shows that we don't need allies just based on that. Gosh, I could never get over to that battle. You need to be ready for some. wish we could spar you, but obviously my prowess is slightly better than yours, and your personality of your contentment. I'm gonna have to spar with somebody else. Oh, 1 second. My Marshal Yuba has been showing off a promising new recruit. He may not be as noble as stock as you, my liege, but on my name I swear that Jafar is someone you would want on your side. Very well. He shall serve me. Come on in. There you go. And of course, his prowess skills progressively getting worse and worse because he's getting older. Despite the fact that he is a blade master, ever since he lost his leg, he's never been the same during those deadly battles. But I do want to spar because I would want to improve my prowess a bit. So, how are you, Jafar? Zealous villain, you say. Sadistic. Shall we spar? Non-lethal single combat will commence immediately. May gain a bonus, but there's always risk involved. It'll cost you 150 prestige. Take it easy, alright? For a few brief moments, Jafar and I pace in lazy half circles, each watching for an opening. I raise my hammer, ready to defend myself, while he clutches his sword firmly in his hand. This fight might be able to first blood, but it does ease my nerves. A sudden twitch our bout begins. For God and Allah, suffer blasphemous, shrieks Jafar, lifting his sword to the heavens. I mean, he is zealous, but take it easy, will you? What has happened is no risk to his injury, but low increase to his likelihood of success is what has happened for him. And he gained a small bit of piety. Why would I want to make fun of that? But I'll just say this. You have to let your guard down eventually, coward. Probing attack. Cautiously but firmly. I test the strength of his guard. Medium increase to my chance of likelihood of success or injury. Picking my moments carefully, I make several quick strikes, knocking Jafar this way and that, slowly widening his guard. Unexpectedly, he manages to swing a vicious kick to my shin, momentarily helping me. My form is decent, with some lapses. Jafar's stance is formidable. We are evenly matched, with victory balancing on a knife edge. So, he hit me in the shin, which is low increase to success in his injury. Is that the best you got? You can't even hit me. I try to tire him. Playing defensively for a time, I'll allow him to tire himself while I stay fresh. It becomes harder to injure myself. Remember, this is duel to first blood, so take any chance you get. I mean, prowess skill is 14, his is 15. It's not exactly even. I'm 44, he's 22. Age doesn't make a difference, but still. Time and again, I backpedal, dodge, and weave, always keeping just within tempting target distance. Soon, Jafar showing signs of exhaustion. With surprising speed, Jafar unleashes a powerful cleave of his sword, nearly knocking my hammer loose. My form is excellent, with little chance for mistake, and Jafar's stance is passable. We're still evenly matched here. I gained a dual handicap of rank 6, so this isn't good. I mean, as Sogdian for Fatua, has negated all but one of the penalties. Two can play that game. Make fun of his poor level of fame, and he would have a dual handicap on his part to get a bit of stress. You think he could beat someone as famous as me? This is probably a mistake. It's beautiful, really, using someone's cringe at their own inadequacy to open a gap on their guard. The definition of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I bet it was a little help. From there, a single solid blow to Jafar's sword hand knocks his weapon loose. I whirl my own hammer with flourish, preparing to crush him. I can't resist the urge to get one. We're getting one final jam. Now, what does the loser say? Yield, as it turns out. Yield, yield, yield. I'm victorious. So I won because it was due to his injury risk score. So I just decided to play it safe. So he got wounded. The duel was first blood. And she just became a decision just now because she just treated his wound here. Which will go away soon enough. Good fight, my man. Just goes to show that I still got. I put down my weapon and turned to Jafar, giving him a customary round of applause. He does the same. Well fought, my Ekshwane. You bested me fair and square, Jafar says. This practice will surely serve us well, should there be war in the future of Al-Farghani. This was invigorating. I feel fit and ready. A good bout. So, Jafar, unfortunately, he got a sprained ankle, which lowers his prowess. Sorry about that. And a valiant knight, so I have an attacker advantage for the next 10 years. While I gave him a sprained ankle. He's recovered from his wound, but you still got an average prowess skill. We'll be ready for war next year. As I stated before, man, I love being a Sogdian. I've been wanting to do a series on them for some time, but it's not in Sogdiana, but in an entirely different setting, as there is more flavor in some other region, as there is no flavor pack for Sogdiana yet. But here in Egypt, it'll do. Karush has passed, and we have a new Mufti. Faris, he's a better fighter than Kurush. I'll give you that. Now, what's he up to? He's got more of that cavalry. So, get ready. Oh, the search for Waq-Waq. I summoned my chancellor and my, my guy, whoever that is, to inform them a new letter from their agent, Fatima Waqt. The search for Waq-Waq has progressed, I exclaimed. Your agent advises that at last he found someone who knew of Waq-Waq, a magistrate in Sin, and after much financial persuasion, secured our faithful Fatima Waqt an invitation to a mansion full of richly dressed ladies, where resided a Waq-Waq noblewoman. Despite linguistic difficulties, the magistrate impressed on the noblewoman of the importance of our embassy, and she agreed to send an envoy here, her daughter or something such the agent believes. She will accompany Fatima and the rest of the delegation on their voyage home. Puzzlingly, my counselors look at each other, mouth confused around it, shared a delight and anticipation. Splendid! You done found it. Now, let's begin. For Barca, it doesn't cost much prestige. They're vastly inferior, but we don't need to bring allies for this. I believe we can handle it on our own. Not you. Need your help. "11 months. The real question is, where's the enemy? they come. They're going to the Gulf of Sidra. And then they're gonna make their landing to Ajdabiya. And as they land, they will turn this way to the less defended area. We'll still have to take the objective, and then we'll deal with the enemy army. They do not have as good fighters as they used to, ever since we killed their best one. He's the one leading the army. He can have it, but he won't have this. But god dang it, why is it not going down? I mean, Cygnus is ready, but no fully stock, which would make this siege easier. The progress. The envoy from Waq-Waq. Trumpets sound outside the palace to announce the arrival of the Waq-Waq envoy. Here at last. Fatmewaj, who returned from his long trip to the ends of the known world, gently escorts her to the throne, where she halts a few steps before me and bows slightly. We beg your forgiveness, my lord, says Fatmewaj. Despite our many months on the road, my lady still does not have much of our tongue. She looks from him to me and smiles somewhat vacuously. Well then, I say, a little disappointed. We shouldn't subject her to an awkward conversation today. I invite her to take the high chair, set in a prestigious position on the dais, and announce the beginning of the welcoming festivities. I later join my chancellor and the other guy in the feast hall to start off my approach. Well done, I smile. You achieved the impossible. Yes, it does so seem, answers Azreg, with a calculated look at the envoy, currently eating food with a bandit and dancing out of rhythm to a minstrel song. No doubt our customs are nothing like what she learned at the Waq-Waq court, I say. No doubt, agrees Kasavach. Welcome to my court. She is Shang Tong, a Han Chinese woman. She may be slow, but she's pretty to look at, as you can have a good look at her. Even though we consider their faith to be evil, but consider us to be hostile. While it is, some say, in her customs over there, humble is a virtue, while sadistic is a sin. Kind of like ours. But in actuality, it's Taoist faith, and it indicates that it came from all the way from China. But if I were to make her one of my wives, but I don't think that's a good idea, because I don't want to have slow children in my realm. Don't want to have that in her conscience. So welcome. Apparently Waq-Waq is a real place. I don't care what you people say. But I'll do my research after this episode. I'll have to look up that island. Or Waq-Waq. Or its locations. There you go, starvation. An interesting siege. As the siege of the Wilayah of Barca al-Marj comes to an end, finally, I sit and ponder the events that occurred as I commanded the siege's strategic decisions. Were the defenses too weak? Were my men or weapons too strong? Either way, it certainly feels like something was off. Yeah, it took too long. My liege, a lot of our fortified holdings still use some of the same technology, begins the marshal before noticing our concern. I look around the room and make myself clear. until technological developments allow us to improve our forts more. We must rely on the strength of our faith. Decide to put my faith in greater powers to protect my realms. Praying for protection. Rather than invest financially in the fortifications, these has instead turned their back on the workforce improving their councils and opt to pray for protection instead. That's it. We're coming on down here. The chances are even. But I have the advantage. I fight the desert. See what we can do. Jafar was wounded. My son maimed one of theirs. Good. Sogdian Faris was wounded. It's safe from Walid Abraham. That's the commander. Textbook. And Jafar is wounded one of theirs. Now we have to take this area back. Which, fortunately, ever since we did not improve their defenses, it shouldn't take long. As long as we hold the objective and win a few more battles, then that's it. Barca is finally ours. Yeah, go back to where you once came. Let me get my aides here. I'll probably go to Tobruk. We shall meet them there. At least we'll be reinforced as we're in friendly territory. Aggravated wound. He's still doing fine. After all, he's stoic. Just adds a bit of... Oh, that's for disease, not injury. He's landing. Bad move. Recently disembarked. Advantage us. We defeated him right before the early battle phase ended. Should be over in a few months. Well done, everybody. And that includes you too, son. Now he's a blade master and he has lover's pox. God dang it! That's inherited. Wonder who my son had relations with. But nevertheless, it's for hopes. And you hope that future children does not get this. And hope for that one to get this. Only marrying this one because it's not only for a similar alliance with a Kurdish realm, which is far away from here, but it's because it's that genetic trait. That's more desirable. And plus, Sogdian and Kurdish, fellow Iranian. They have a tour just like us. Finally. Finally got both. Now we can finally move our capital here, as it's supposed to be. Fortunately, those previous owners here, at least this is for about a year, military presence for more control growth. I'll get to work on that. They said it'll take 3 years, but hey, you did it. Now we can start making some real fortune. Thinking. Yeah, that. No one else can touch you now. And I want to start building buildings. Go for a wealth focus. As I said, now it's time to start making some real money. No more wars for me. Now it's time to finally build up the realm. And I know this isn't of the correct faith, but they're righteous and it does not affect the popular opinion. And you know, due to this culture, I noticed that them being Saharan nomads, all its holdings, going on the offensive. All the Botir holdings, which we live in there. Building construction costs in deserts is reduced, so it's slightly cheaper to build buildings around here. While traveling across the desert of Tobruk, I find a makeshift looking stall by the side of the track. I stop to take a look. A peasant by the name of Minanai jumps into action. He's trying to convince me to buy one of the small Shahada carvings she has on sale. I make them by hand, my lord. Each one takes me hours of work. I'll talk to her and see what I can learn about salesmanship. And my first priority is just get this. Just want to have a little bit of wealth focus on that. I mean, fortunately it's drylands, which gives you access to some more of these different types of buildings. And since you live in a coast, a trade port is a must-have, as this gives a bit more development growth as compared to the other ones. So yes, I did it, my Sultan. I finally got to Barca, where you originally wanted me to be assigned and be stationed there, and I got it. I see cats. It's rat-free. He's got a pet cat, a rat-hunting cat. Well, in Islam, cats are viewed favorably. Back in the old ancient Egyptian days, cats are revered amongst Egyptians in ancient stone. A large stone slab has been recently discovered in Barca with some text carved into it. It appears to be centuries old at the least. Though the writing is difficult to read, we were able to find a local scholar who could translate it, who says the stone has been created and raised many generations ago in honor of some important local figure who recently passed away. Little else can be discerned, given the writing is so worn out and written in an ancient style. A piece of history, no less. Long ago, Greeks used to live here. Peasant revolt. Just taking advantage of that modifier. So that completes our first goal of this part of the series. But what is my real major goal for this Sogdian Egyptian series? Well, eventually I would also like to take control of Egypt, but that would probably require to expand a little more, especially to more developed areas like Alexandria. And taking Siwa, which is a good fallback place due to these defenses. And what else? And what else? And being the ruler of Egypt is another. But also I would like to focus on the dynastic legacies regarding the Trans-Saharan trade. Especially this, to further increase the diplomatic range, less attrition in the desert, and increases the chances of Trans-Saharan merchants spawning in my court if a realm cap is located in North Africa, which I am in. Please don't have it, please don't have it, please don't. He's more normal. Okay, good. Your future generation. Khosrow. That's a classic Iranian styled name. A nose per prophet. While out on a leisurely stroll, the cry of a particular merchant stands out from the regular hustle and bustle of the street. Greetings, my lord. I have an exquisite amount of wares, if my lord has the coin. As I peer through the myriad of goods in the stall, I can hear Starosta Rostislava murmur. The etchings on that piece must be real, and quite valuable too. She glanced at me with a triumphant smile. You know, just for seeing a portrait, I come to the realization that if we stand next to each other, it feels like I think she's taller than me. Then again, Slavic people tend to be tall. I don't know about Sogdians, Andalusians, Iranians, and the like. I believe this pay system will be the more lucrative choice, so 55% chance that I'm a decent negotiator, spend less, I'll gain some stewardship. 45% chance that it wasn't a great deal. Successful haggle. Your haggling skills were adequate. An impressive display. Once we are past the next two stalls, Rostislava beams at me. Yes, quite good indeed. I could have done it much better myself. She casually eyes the vowels in the stall next to us, shoots us. Next to us, it shoots me an anticipating side glance. A gilded rat's tail? Poor man's jewelry. Maybe I could teach you a couple of strategies. So reminisce about the day of bartering all night long. So 60% chance that reminisce about it, and 39% chance that she wasn't quite convinced. Successful persuasion. At least my children will like me. Even though it hurts my prestige gain a little, but I could care less. And its effect only lasts 10 years, and I'm never going to repair that. Oh god, what happened? Heart failure at 51? Sultan Al-Abbas, the evil blackguard. Well, that's a man you don't want to cross. Ah, yes. For the military education. Yours is for learning. Let her handle that. And, who's more interested in the intrigue, but no, switch that to Marshall. I know a thing or two about a thing or two regarding Marshall. Adultery? Oh god, who's your lover? Oh, I think I know. Aha. Now we know who's responsible of who gave my son Tarkun lover's pox. It's you. And I don't need to know that secret. That is it. Arrest her. She's responsible. Don't you know that both Shea and Sunny are in agreement that adultery is criminal? Now. Trying to think. Jeez. Torturing a pregnant woman? Are you sick? I may be wrathful, but I am not sadistic. For the sake of your pregnancy, move out under house arrest until the baby is born. Wait. Is born in prison, Wild Oat. Is under house arrest. Hey, look for secrets around here. I want confirmation that she is the one responsible for spreading that lotus fox. But is it really something to get angry about? Yeah, sure. I don't have the benefits of the steward anymore. And if I want to make more money, then I may have to reduce the size. Just a tad bit. So we're cutting costs here. If I were to torture, would anybody take it against me? I'll be spending piety for this. For how long? 20 years. Oh, that thing's gonna hold a grudge. But let's wait for the spy master to find that secret. Alright. If you can't find it, then I'm gonna have to torture her. Sorry, that's not something I would like to do. But oh boy, additional taxes. Trade port is the first thing, but oh, good. Wait a while. Wait 4 months. You're not the steward anymore, so things aren't cheaper anymore. Going down there. Are you really needed help? Oh, I believe you can handle it yourself. You could defeat them both. Ignore the call. Spider above severed my age is yet to uncover any secrets here at court. Will I ever find anything in there's less going on in the graveyard at noon? Okay, back to where we were. Well, I hate to do this to you, because you gave my son lover's pox, and I know it was you. She's definitely going to fold while questioning. I'm going to have to torture her. So, again, it's rightful imprisonment. She's a criminal. And so therefore, true fortune. Why complicate matters? It's like a good old rack. When the jailer hauls Tessink in the room, her eyes are immediately drawn to the big wooden frame. No, please, no. I'll tell you anything you want to know. I have a terrible secret. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Yes, I know your child is a bastard, but who? Did you lay with my son or not? That is the question I want to know. Did you or did you not? I'm well aware that your child is a wildo. I've asked you. Aha! I know it! Now, listen. I don't know what you did. I don't know if you came to her or did she came to you first. Strong hook. I mean, I don't know if that's a good idea, because what good would that do? What am I supposed to do with a hook? Oh yeah, it's good to do this again. So yeah, I know the secret, but listen, you're good to me, alright? I'm just simply gonna get the hook out of you. Plus you're a content coward, so you're willing to do that, so... As I said before, what the hell am I gonna do with that? I'm not gonna take it out on you by disinheriting you, because that's not how we do it around here. Striving amidst the strife. The latest work of my acquaintance, Wali Abdul Hassan, has come all the rage at the court of late. The piece deals with success and growing greatness, and Abdul Hassan is publicly dedicated. The Mace's Song. Where other men speak silvered words, our hero himself in iron girds has said his subjects prove grateful, for they are not. They'll soon see on which side they have fought. So far, I kept my thoughts to myself, but the buzz has grown dramatic. Ignore too much longer. That's truly heartfelt. Glad you think that. We'll end this episode as soon as we get this perk and begin the construction of the trade port. And the next episode will be mainly about just develop your capital. increase your income and all that. Flight of fancy. The renowned inventor Abbas ibn Firas sought me out for a very odd petition, carrying a pair of wings made from wood and silk. Long have humans lusted to soar through the heavens, he says. I have made calculations. I prove that we can. Allow me to jump on the tallest tower of your castle, and, my lord, I shall serve you faithfully afterwards. Unfortunately, my son Yabko has learned of this and is begging me to let him see the aged scholar take flight. Oh gosh. That would never work. He's, I'll say very well, I'll allow it. There's no telling how Yapka might react to seeing this. So 60% chance that I will gain prestige. He lives and joins the court. There's a small chance of him being brave. 40% chance that he crashes or dies. And in a possible outcome, that Jakob might become melancholic for seeing that, or sadistic if he dies. He flew! Wow. He did it. Welcome to the court. You are fine. Oh. It's too bad that you're a lowborn. My other son, Tamas, comes of age. Tough soldier. Aggressive attacker. You got it. Cutting cornerstones just to make the buildings slightly cheaper. Again, ridiculously expensive because I decided to go for praying for protection, just for castle buildings. But in time it'll be reduced. So for now, go for a trade port because this helps with the development growth, which there isn't none of that. As of now, it's for starters. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will end the episode right here as we ended on July. So, in the next episode, we will get this fully under control, which will be in about 14 months. And as we stated before, it's like, fine, now let's make some real money. And then we'll use that money for construction projects. Maybe send one of my allies, or go send it to some faraway country like Croatia or Serbia, just to do this decision where I would present skilled Silk Road entertainers to gain a little bit of renown. But of course, don't forget to pay homage and petition the liege if you need anything, if you need any help with that. But I would say no, we don't need the liege's help. We're doing fine on our own. So we'll just focus more on the here and now, after the first 2 episodes of Warfare. Just be a man who is well focused until the very end. But at least what I do know is, look, you're the one that did not commit adultery, alright? You are forgiven for that. Although I could have exposed the secret, and then I would have imprisoned you, and then I would have done other things. But no. Had to be her, so. It's too bad I can't, banish her. Oh, there it is. Banish. That's what I want. You know what? Do end the episode. It's just this. Okay, there. I could have tortured you, but at least you told me your secret. So, I want you to get the heck out of my country. And as for that child of that, you could take him with you too. So actually, end the episode as soon as they're both out of here. Okay, she's gone to the next door. And went with the mother. Okay, good. Not that far apart, though. But still. We hope you people have enjoyed this episode. But, man. This was a very good episode, especially with all the warfare and stuff. But, hey, let's be real honest. I did not torture that one. We scared her. She gave away that secret. We know she did that to my son. And I blackmailed him just to get a strong hook out of him so that I will use it for whatever purpose, which is probably not that useful to me, to be honest. But still, he's a good fighter. He's a good soldier. So, we'll see you in the next episode. But until then, so long for now.